Dear students, in this video I am going to deal with gametogenesis. As you know, gametogenesis is very important process in which the process of formation of gametes in the respective gonad of male as well as female is called as gametogenesis, right? So let us start with the gametogenesis now. Gametogenesis. The name itself suggests gameto stands for gamete, genesis stands for production. Production or the formation of the gametes itself it is called as. And definition I am going to write over here, the process of formation of gametes in respective gonads of both male and female is called as gametogenesis. Gametogenesis. This is the definition of gametogenesis. And this gametogenesis, in which the gamete formation that take place, and this gamete itself is somewhat different from all other somatic cells. How they are different is, see here, gamete is there, and this gamete that contains only the half number of chromosomes in it when compared to the somatic cells, right? So that's why this gamete becomes very unique feature. So, and one more thing, what makes these gametes haploid in nature or containing only half the number of chromosomes when compared to the somatic cell is very important. So here main important role is of a cell division, that is meiotic division or meiosis. Meiosis plays important role in maintenance of this chromosomal number, right? So this is more significant thing related with the gametogenesis, which help in the restore of the diploid number of chromosomes in the zygote in the next generation, right? So that is very important point. We'll discuss about this one in the next coming significance of gametogenesis. Okay, so come to the gametogenesis. This gametogenesis is of two types. One is spermatogenesis it is, and the second one is oogenesis are the two types of gametogenesis that we come across over here. First one is spermatogenesis and second one is oogenesis. So what do you mean by spermatogenesis? As the name suggests, that spermato stands for sperm and genesis of formation, right? So that is nothing but the process of formation of sperms itself is called as spermatogenesis. Oogenesis is nothing but ovum or the egg cell. The process of formation of ovum or egg cell is called as oogenesis. These are the two types of what? Gametogenesis that occurs over here. And the process of formation of both sperms as well as ovum or egg cell, that takes place under the same steps, right? What are the steps for these two? Very important one. These are usually asked for 5-mark question, right? So for 5 marks, right, concentrate over these one. First one is spermatogenesis. I'm going to start now, right? So what is spermatogenesis? Put the heading spermatogenesis. The process of formation of sperms in the testis. Testis itself is the male gonad. Testis is called as spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis it is. right? This is one important thing to be remembered. Definition it is. And what are the steps of spermatogenesis, right? This is more important aspect, right? So there are several steps involved in spermatogenesis. The first step involved is, so what is the first step involved? The process of formation of spermatids. First one is the formation of spermatids and formation of sperms or spermatozoa from spermatids is called as spermiogenesis. What is this process called as? Spermiogenesis. Means what are the major two steps of spermatogenesis? First one is formation of spermatids is one step, and second step is simply we can say this is spermiogenesis, or it is a formation of sperms or spermatozoa from the spermatids. These are the major steps of what? Spermatogenesis. And so the process of formation of these sperms take place under three phases. First one is multiplication phase, second one is growth phase, and third one is maturation phase. Right? Those phases also will discuss now. So usually during the study of spermatogenesis, we say there are three steps are there. First one is multiplication phase, second one is growth phase, and third one is that is maturation phase. Like this usually we consider, but here somewhat different way I am going to convince you how the spermatogenesis that takes place, right? So let us start with the first step. What is the first step? So formation of spermatids. First step I am going to start with the formation of spermatids. Usually the formation of these sperms that takes place usually in the seminiferous tubules. Remember yourself, yes, usually the formation of sperms that takes place inside seminiferous tubule. As you know, the cross section of what? The cross section of testis, you will find such kind of a round shaped seminiferous tubules which are lying inside the interstitium, that is connective tissue, right? So these are all bounded with the help of the connective tissue. This is the fundamental thing what you have already learnt over here. In the interstitium there are some specialized cells are there. These are called as the Leydig cells, right? That also you know it better. So one of the tubule that I consider over here. What is that tubules? So seminiferous tubule. In that seminiferous tubule, the tubule is lined with germinal epithelium. Already I have told you, right? It is lined with germinal epithelium, and the germinal epithelial cells are cuboidal cells. They are cuboidal cells, and along with these cells, it also contains some of the tall triangular shaped cells, and those tall cells are also known as what? Already you have studied this one, okay? And those tall cells are known as what? These are Sertoli cells. Means usually what are the cells that you come across here are two types of cells that you come across. Sometimes we may say one is a reproductive cell and the second one is non-reproductive cell. Non-reproductive cell itself is a Sertoli cell, and a reproductive cell itself is said to be as what? So that is germinal epithelial cell. And germinal epithelial cells, they produce what? So spermatogonial cell, right? They are called as sperm mother cell. Already I have explained this one. Okay. So now what are present over here? specialized cells called as spermatogonial cells are also present over here. So you will come across spermatogonial cells here. Okay, you can understand spermatogonial cells, green colored cells, whatever I have so shown over here, they are spermatogonial cell. So you may understand the same thing here is a long Sertoli cell is there. Along with that one, there are some cuboidal cells are also there that makes the lining over here, and these cuboidal cells are germinal epithelial cells, and these germinal epithelial cells produces some of the specialized cells, and those specialized cells are nothing but a spermatogonial cell, and these are spermatogonial cell. Right, and spermatogonial cells are nothing but sperm mother cells. Why? Because they are going to become what? Sperms, right? So that's why spermatogonial cells are said to be as sperm mother cells. Okay, so let us see. So this is the cell which is called as Sertoli cell. What it is known as Sertoli cell, and this is nurse cell. Nurse cell. Why? Because it helps in nourishment of developing sperms. It helps in nourishment of developing sperm. So this is the fundamental idea what we have already, right? So where the spermatogenesis take place? Inside the seminiferous tubule. We came to know inside the seminiferous tubule what happens? Spermatogenesis take place. How does it take place? I am going to explain over here separately. I am not showing the same thing in the diagram. In the diagram I have already shown in the last videos, right? So formation of spermatids is the first step. In that first step, there some of the phases that we come across already I have told you. The first phase is multiplication phase. Multiplication phase. What happens in this multiplication phase? So multiplication phase, the name itself suggests that the multiplication of the cells that take place over here. How does it take place? Where does it take place? Let us see which cells are going to multiply themselves. It's very important point, right? So I shall show it diagrammatically, right, separately over here, right? So I consider here one spermatogonial cell. So this is one spermatogonial cell which contains 2 number of chromosomes. Spermatogonial cell it is. Spermatogonial cell. And this undergo what? Mitotic division. What it undergoes? Mitotic division, so as to form 2 cells over here. In both the cells, how many number of chromosomes are present? Usually equal number of chromosomes, hence it is called as equational division. What happens? Equational division it is, right? So this is how the division of the cell results, means spermatogonial cell results in formation of more number of spermatogonial cells. Hence this phase itself is called as a phase of multiplication. See here, these cells are also here, and this cell also undergo what? Mitotic division, so as to form 2 cells, and this cell also undergo what? 2 cells, right? Undergo mitotic division, so as to form 2 cells. Like this, multiple number of cells are formed over here. So, and this is called as phase of multiplication. Already I have told you multiplication phase. In multiplication phase, multiple number of spermatogonial cells are formed over here. This is one fact. Hence I shall show this one as multiplication phase. And next we shall go to the next phase. What is the next phase? Before going to see that one, we must remember, so the spermatogonial cell, when it undergo division, so as to form 2 types of cells. One is type A cell and second one is type B cell, right? So first of all, so we must concentrate this type A cell. This type A cell remains as the stem cell. Type A spermatogonial cell remains as the stem cell. Once again it undergo division so as to form many number of spermatogonial cell. Right? This is type A. Whatever the type B, this undergo division of course. Right? So, but one thing remember, the type B spermatogonial cell, it undergo next phase, that is growth phase, and it is going to become what? Sperm itself. It is going to become what? Sperm. It is the precursor cell of the sperm. So NEET examination you have to concentrate over here on type B. Type B spermatogonial cell. So it is acting as the precursor cell of the sperm, and it is going to become what? So, sperm later, right? So then what happens with this one? It undergo growth phase. What it undergoes? Growth phase, and it grows larger in size but contain the same number of chromosome. Diploid number of chromosome it contains. But this phase itself is said to be as what? Growth phase. What happens during growth phase is, this spermatogonial cell, it gains much of the nutrition from the nurse cell. When it gets more number of nutrients, it becomes larger and prominent cell it becomes. And this is nothing but, it is called as, so the primary spermatocyte. What it is called as? Primary spermatocyte it is called as. What it forms? Primary spermatocyte it forms, right? And this primary spermatocyte undergo maturation phase. So that maturation phase in which the meiotic division that occurs over here. Then what happens? This cell undergo what? Meiosis 1. This undergo meiosis 1. Then automatically in the first maturation division, what happens over here is, two cells are formed and both the cells have half the number of chromosome when compared to the parental cell. Right? So this is called as first meiotic division, first maturation phase it is. During first maturation phase, reductional division take place. In NEET examination, concentrate over this point. Right? So what is this phase called as? Next phase called as? The next phase is called as maturation phase. Maturation phase. So in the first maturation phase, two cells are formed. And these two cells are called as secondary spermatocytes. Spermatocytes itself. These two cells are called as secondary spermatocytes, which have half the number of chromosomes over here. And once again, these undergo second meiotic division or second maturation, so division itself. And later they form how many cells? 4 cells it forms. And all the cells have equal number of chromosomes as compared to the parental cell. See here what kind of division this maturation phase, second maturation phase is. It is an equational division, it is a mitotic division, you concentrate. So definitely in a NEET examination, so this kind of questions may be occurring over here, right? So it is having the same number of chromosomes as compared to the parental cell, right? So then all these 4 haploid cells are formed, and all these haploid cells are called as spermatids. What these are called as? Spermatids. What these are called as? Spermatids. Now what happens? So initially multiplication of a spermatogonial cell took place. Type A, type B were formed. Type B is called as precursor sperm, and it undergo what? So development, I mean it was gaining the nutrients and becomes larger enough and prominent one. It is called as primary spermatocyte, and primary spermatocyte undergo maturation phase. In the first maturation phase, it is reductional division occurs and 2 cells are formed in meiosis 1 and later meiosis 2. four cells are formed, and so the cells which are formed as a result of the first meiotic division, they are called as secondary spermatocytes, and later whatever the cells they are formed, they are called as spermatids. Then what is the first step? Formation of spermatids. So first step is over now. Now what happened? The first step is over of spermatogenesis. So multiplication phase and growth phase, as well as third one is maturation phase. All these phases over. Then what happens? What is the second step over here? The second step itself is the formation of sperms from the spermatids. It is called as spermiogenesis. What is the name? Spermiogenesis. The second step itself is spermiogenesis. What is spermiogenesis? One more question it is. So the process of formation of sperms from the spermatids is called as spermiogenesis. What it is called as? Spermiogenesis. Don't confuse spermatogenesis, production of sperms. Spermiogenesis, formation of sperms from the spermatids is called as spermiogenesis. It is the second step. Then what happens? So a lot of changes. These spermatids are non-motile in nature. They are non-motile in nature. They are converted or transformed into motile sperms. These are transformed into motile sperms. You are observing over here. So 4 sperms are formed over here. 4 sperms are formed over here. You can observe over here itself, right? So now what happened? There are 4 sperms are formed over here from the spermatids, and this process is called as spermiogenesis. What it is called as? Spermiogenesis. That's why remember over here, this is the diagrammatic representation of the spermatogenesis. This is usually asked for 5 marks in the examination, remember, right? So I hope this aspect is known to you. Now what happens? In the previous video also I have shown you so one diagram. What is that? In the, what is this one? One seminiferous tubule in which there you come across a large Sertoli cell over here, and in the Sertoli cell the head of the sperm is embedded. The head of the sperm is embedded into the Sertoli cell. Now you are observing here. The head of the sperm is embedded in the Sertoli cell, and these heads, they separate from the Sertoli cell and they are released from this seminiferous tubule. Is called as, very important term, you must remember, spermiation. What it is called as? Spermiation. So this is also 1 mark question. Spermiation is there, spermiogenesis is there, spermatogenesis is there. All these are the things that you must remember over here. So this is 2 essential things to be remembered. So this is all about what? Spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis. How many steps are there? 2 major steps I have made over here. First one is formation of spermatids. So, and second one is spermiogenesis. These are the 2 major steps in the spermatids formation. So multiplication, growth phase as well as maturation phase take place. All these are the things that you keep in your mind separately and simultaneously try to remember and tally with this spermatogenesis, the hormonal control. right? Already have explained how the hormonal control that takes place over here. So that hormonal control you have to compare over here. What happens? So in 1 minute I am going to complete that one. So what happens over here in during hormonal control? So GnRH is released, and that stimulates the anterior lobe of the pituitary, that produces the FSH as well as the LH. LH, it stimulates the Leydig cells to produce what? Testosterone hormone, and the testosterone hormone what is released into the interstitium, remember, and FSH, so it produces what? ABP, that is androgen binding protein, and androgen binding protein is released by what? The Sertoli cell, and that concentrates what? Testosterone into the seminiferous tubule, that would help in production of what? Sperms itself, right? FSH indirectly helps in production of sperms, but simultaneously this Sertoli cell also produces one more hormone, that is inhibin, and that inhibin hormone inhibits the synthesis of FSH. Then what happens automatically? FSH, what it does? Itself is spermatogenesis. It is being stopped over here. So this is how the hormonal control that take place already. So I have explained in the previous class, and try to follow this one. And whenever I am explaining, you go on writing down the notes. It is very best notes that you can have yourselves, right? Thank you very much.